What's up, guys? Tim Alston with Dragboss Garage. This is Ed Mclemore. Check this out. Now, he is the guy behind the Assassin cylinder heads you may be seeing on Facebook. So I came here to PRI with Darin. We're doing a quick interview, and this may be in his video when I'm doing your cylinder heads. Maybe a separate one, I don't know. But he wanted to share this engine with you guys because I think this is a feat of amazing technology from a guy that doesn't know anything about cylinder heads, maybe?
I'm the dumbest guy in every room, but I'm quite okay with that.
Look what he built. So what is this exactly? This is John Wick, and it's running the Assassin cylinder head. Now, this is a what? Big block Ford cylinder head?
Yeah, it's 4900, which is a stock bore space Ford.
Okay.
It's designed to fit on aftermarket blocks, like the A460 block.
Okay, yep.
It's a reverse image. The intake and the exhaust valves are reverse, and it's kind of correct.
Like the mirror, right?
Yeah,
That.
bank offset on the Ford block.
Okay.
Darin can explain it a whole lot better than I can. It just seemed like a great concept. And
How big is this?
630 inches.
630 inches. Guys, if you remember, I did that video on design, performance, billet engine blocks, big block Ford. Well, here's one right here. So, like Darin said, you know, the world's kind of turning billet, so.
That's that guy right there.
We don't know. We'll see how it all works out. All right, guys, as you saw, the heads and intakes were cast at Jarvie Performance Castings. Now, all the machine work for the heads and intakes was done by Elite Machine and Forming. Ed actually has a few different intakes, but we're concentrating only on the big block Ford items right now. These are the heads in unmachined appearance. Beautiful looking castings. And look at that exhaust port. Wow. Now, all the rocker arms, I think he told me, were from Jessel. They have their own program for these cylinder heads. There's the combustion chamber that's unmachined. And now look at it. Beautiful looking seats right there. It's amazing. Darin did say that these big block Ford heads are one of the baddest cylinder heads he's ever had an opportunity to work on. Towards the end of this video, you're going to hear a discussion when Darin and I discuss the development and the benefits of these cylinder heads. There is a lot of tech in there, great stuff to listen to, so take the time to listen to the end of the video. And like I mentioned before, once you get into specialized cylinder heads like this, you have to match the cubic inch to the airflow. And you'll see and listen to Darin explain this, how you need to put this at an RPM range that will allow the best flow for those intake ports. He mentions how you want to keep the RPM at a certain limit to allow the air to go where it needs to go efficiently. There's an engine with the rocker arms all set up. John Wick, Assassin. Ed named his engine John Wick, as you will soon find out why. But there's some ideas on a tunnel ram type intake. Looks like a CAD development, and now you see it in aluminum. So he has been making different style intakes rather than for a single 4. Beautiful looking sheet metal right there. Now let's see why these are one of the baddest big block Ford cylinder heads out there.
The Assassin head is a cylinder head that was designed for an OEM Ford with an OEM valve train. Now, you're looking at a set of heads that flows almost exactly what a JC51 does. Within 10 CFM, maybe 10 CFM better. But these cylinder heads, even though they flow this amount, will never reach the potential of a JC51 because you can't raise the engine speed higher. because of the valve train, the OEM valve train, and the limitations and design considerations we had to make with the cylinder head to fit everything in there around that valve train.
Okay.
So everybody says, well, it's capable of 1,500 horsepower, and it is. The JC51 is capable of 1,500 horsepower. It is. But this is only capable of 1,500 horsepower and like 600 cubic inches. You have to bring the RPMs down to put it in its efficiency range. Where the JC51 shines at like 10,200, 10,500, this is going to shine with 650, 630 cubic inches at about 9,000.
So the valve train layout in OEM is limiting you to 9,000.
That and where he had to put the valves.
Yeah.
This is Ed Mclemore, by the way, is who designed these cylinder heads. Where he had to put the valves in order to facilitate the rocker arms at a proper plane to operate properly, that is what limits its function as far as engine speed. But it's still capable of 1,500 horsepower. You just have to lower the RPM range and put more cubic inches on it, and it'll do it. Not a problem.
Now, I thought he had told me that they had changed the layout of the ports, intake and exhaust. Am I right?
Yes, they're reversed.
So is there a picture? Let me see what's next for the pictures here.
They're reversed from a normal Ford. So you have to have a custom billet, which they make them. It's not an issue.
Yep. That's the cylinder head there, correct?
Mm-hmm. Now, when I saw this, I got to tell this story because
it
just still blows me away. I met Ed Mclemore at PRI.
Yep.
And I was looking at this cylinder head, and I stood there for I don't know how long. I think it was probably an hour. And I came back like twice, and I kept looking at it, and I kept looking at it.
What's wrong? Yeah.
And I'm like, he did every single thing that I would do, plus some. So then I started talking to Ed. Ed is not a cylinder head designer. This is one of the first heads he's ever designed.
Yep.
What he did was he went to all the engine builders and asked them, what do you hate about this? What should I do? What do you think I should do here? What do you hate about this cylinder head and that cylinder head? And he made pro and con list and went through and designed this thing. And there's not one damn thing unchanged on it. It's amazing. This is the nitrous chamber. This is recessed plugs and big chambers. And later on, the next pictures will show you a really small chamber. But that's a big-ass chamber.
For that intake. How many cc's is that? What's the volume of that runner?
I don't know. I don't think I've cc'd the damn thing. The cross-sectional area is really all I care about. This is also a manifold he came up with.
Wow.
And this is a lower RPM engine. It's got longer runners.
Right. Very beautiful.
Now, this is the small chamber.
How many cc's is that? Like 40 or something?
47. You see how far the intake is off the bore wall?
Yeah.
There's a lot of flat over there, isn't there?
Yeah.
If you notice how tight that chamber is over there on that side,
yeah,
there's a reason for that. It's because there's less airflow over there. So the chamber needs to be tighter to hold the airspeed up. If you put a velocity probe around that valve, you'll find that that chamber wall is tuned to bring the velocities as close together as I can. So if you laid that wall back, you would dump the pressure too fast. The velocity would take a dump. Well, guess what reversion is going to act on first? It's going to act on the low velocity area. So if you keep that area over there tight and fast and move it off the bore wall,
yep,
and try to get the airspeed around that valve as even as you can, home run. I see people lay chambers back way too far a lot. And that's another area where the flow bench will lie to you. Because you can lay a combustion chamber back and gain like 5 CFM down low and think you've made a gain and lost probably 25% of your pressure recovery out the valve. 2.585 intake and a 1.850 exhaust. Remember when I said that 118 CFM per square inch valve area is your target?
Yep.
Look over here in the second to left column, CFM per square inch of valve area, where it hits 118 at 1.1.
Yeah, I see.
I would like to have it hit 118 at 1. That would be my preferred place. But you also see it hits 120. It takes a spike up. Now, ports, 2-valve ports are really weird about that because at a certain point, you have the Venturi convergence point where the curtain area and the throat are the same. And then at another point, which is 0.45 lift to diameter ratio, where the valve is so out of the way of the port that the port doesn't even see it. And that's what happens when you exceed 118 CFM per square inch of valve area at the higher lift regions. As a matter of fact, you'll see the flow curve come up and level off and then shoot up right at the very end. When in the 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 range, all the way up in there, it'll continue to go up. That thing will probably move 640 at 1.350. It'll keep going because the port doesn't even see the valve is in the way at that point. It's just the port. That's the secondary convergence point.
How much lift are these cams using? How big are these cams?
Pro mods are in the 1.350 range. And normally something like this will see 1.150, 1.180.
So it would respond. This was what, 655 cubic inch you said, or 650?
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you put it on 700. It'll adjust accordingly and make more power by the virtual increase in size in cubic inch, correct?
Correct.
Right? Is it designed for a certain cubic inch motor?
Well, if there's a certain cubic inch of engine to hit an individual RPM range, whatever that is. So if it's 500 cubic inches, it can make 1,500 horsepower at
10.5, whatever.
10.2.
Okay.
If it's 600 cubic inches, it'll make that 1,500 horsepower at 92.
Yeah.
If it's 700 cubic inches, it'll make that 1,500 horsepower at 82, 85, somewhere in there. But the flow potential is 1,500 horsepower. The more cubic inches you stick under it, the lower the RPM range will be.
I think that's all she wrote, brother. That's
How
all.
long have you been talking? 7, 8?
It's only been 2 hours and 58 minutes. That's it. You know?
Only?
Yeah, that's it. Now, how do we get back to where we were? Let's see. There we are. But let's run down and see, and because my eyes are starting to dry out now. I can tell my contacts are like starting to be here. Because we said we were only going to talk at the most 3 hours, and that's about 48 seconds away. And we'll have to just revisit this because there's so many people that want to ask stuff. So that's what we're going to do. Yep, people are saying the same thing. Hey, let's hear you again. Can you do this again? Can we do that? Blah, blah, blah. So let's do this. This is how it's going to work. You and I will come up with a plan. I'll figure out how to do it on my channel. We'll come up with the first thing you want to discuss, a topic that you think is pertinent. That's why I asked that thing on cross-sectional area. I didn't have a great understanding of that. I think you need to get what basics they are and start from that, and then we carry it on.
Yeah, I can do a whole outline from the combustion chamber to the throat right on out and just do a whole velocity profile of how the induction system is tuned. That's not a problem.
Everybody says thank you. They appreciate it, and I thank you guys, man, for being here. Like I said, everything that's donated on this live chat, because you can donate after it's over, all goes to Darin for his time to help us so we can get a better understanding. And we'll set it up on Dragboss Garage where you can have private access, get your questions answered, and get the time, because I know I missed a lot of people, and I'm sorry, but 3 hours, like I said, couldn't you talk, Darin, for another 4 or 5 hours? Probably another 3 at least.
I've conducted 65 classes on induction system research and development, and I speak for 10 hours a day for 2 days.
Okay. So boys and girls that were here, people that stopped by Dragboss Garage, I appreciate it because like I said, knowledge is power. And that's what I'm trying to give you, the knowledge you ain't going to find nowhere else so you can have your combination that you want and perform the way you want. And that's what we're doing here. So we're going to...
I got to say something about that too.
Go ahead.
This is the information age. And, you know, in my day, when I had to learn something, I had to go to the public library. I had to get in my car, drive to the library, read a whole bunch of books. And if the book that I didn't need wasn't there, I had to go to the college library. So now you can look anything up. But the problem is it lacks context and nuance. Because every situation is different and calls for a little, you know, the basic rules I can teach, you know, that's not hard. But it's every situation is a little different, and you have to utilize all those rules and come up with a game plan for that particular engine. You know what I mean?
I do know.
It's all lost today. Experience. You don't have, you can gain the knowledge, but you can't get the experience.
That's exactly what I said. You're right on it, man. That is. And that's what you're getting. 40 years of experience of you doing this, saying, look, buddy, this is what's going to happen if you change that valve size or you do this. That saves someone a lot of time and money, and it teaches them a lesson. That's the point that we're trying to do, is Darin is trying to give back his knowledge, because you know what? All the stuff that we have, like I said, it's just stuff. But some of it ain't stuff, and some of it we got to give back. And this is how we do it, is by doing this for you, so that you can learn. And whether you're a professional head porter, who cares? I don't care what you do. If this competition, this is free sharing of information. This is how it works. You know, so put your ideas on here. If you want to join this group, you know, it's not going to be free. I'm going to tell you right now, the time that we put into this, just to be a YouTuber, it takes a lot of time to do these channels and make them successful, you know, and bring you stuff that's good stuff, not just boring stuff that you see anywhere else. So we'll figure out how we're going to do that. It'll be like a membership here. I never had a membership here, but maybe we'll have that be the membership, and we'll figure that out. It's coming. So with that, we're going to say good night, everybody that stopped in. I appreciate you being here, as does Darin Morgan. So stay tuned to Dragboss Garage.
On the Facebook page?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't care if people know what I got. I mean, you know, I still have to make it go down the track and have to do my job.
So he was just telling this guy over here that he's going to probably be to the dyno in 2 weeks, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
You know, nothing can be in stone. You know how stuff happens. There's always something happening. But I can't wait to get that. And what we'll do is we'll put up the dyno video too.
Yeah, we're going down over to Tony's like we have the last two motors. That way, you know,
consistency.
And one thing I love about Tony's dyno, you know, it's calibrated.
Right.
And you get actual real data from it.
Yeah, I was there. He actually has like 2 dynos, I think. Doesn't he? Yeah. I said, Tony, did you ever have them running at the same time? He said, yeah, I've had them running at the same time. I'm going to wake the neighborhood up.
Man, he stays busy.
Oh, so busy.
Yeah. And
way too busy.
His group of people are phenomenal, because every time that I'm there, everybody is super nice, super friendly, but they don't detract from their job. They know what they
It's a focused place, man. There's no cell phones out. People aren't looking at Facebook. They're not playing. It's a work. You go there to work, and that's what you're working on.
Well-oiled machine.
Without a doubt.